Hi, Shannon Rowe Jackson here from Caution Artists at Play, and today I want to take a quick look back on the last decade of my art. It is a new year and we're coming into a new decade, and so I thought it would be fun to choose one piece from each year since 2010 and tell you a little bit about it. It's going to be a little bit of a different style today. It's going to be more of a slideshow style because some of these pieces I no longer own. Some of them were too large to fit on camera, so I thought it would just be easier if I showed you the images of these paintings and talked a little bit about it. Okay, so the first piece that I want to talk about is from 2010. And this one is very important because it kind of set the tone for the next decade. Before then, I hadn't been in a very great place in my life, and so I wasn't creating as often. I was making some jewelry, and I made maybe one or two pieces for the 3 years previous to this, and I wasn't as prolific as I am now. And then when I met my husband, who is pictured here with me, I did this picture of us from a cell phone photo I had taken, just from a selfie, and after that it was like my creativity exploded and I was just so inspired, and it really helped me like get the wheels moving for the next decade. Really, I owe a lot to this painting. Okay, so 2011. 2011 was a huge year. I did over 100 paintings. At this time, I was working mostly in acrylic, and I worked very fast. This piece is an 18 by 24, I believe, and I did this all in one night, I think. And I did this from a cell phone photo I had taken on a trip going through New Hampshire. And this one is just one of my all-time favorites, and it always will be. I think a lot of people really love this one of mine. It's on my wall in my living room. I love the shadows. I love the realism I was able to capture. And there's a lot that I really love about this that has inspired some of my work since then. And it will always remain one of my favorites, and it's definitely one of the best of 2011. 2012 was also a big year for me because I did a lot of paintings that year as well. I did 140 paintings in 1 year. This one is also a large piece. This is a 24 by 30. I did strawberries as well, and these were just kind of out of my imagination. And this one in particular, I was just really happy with the textures that I did. It was very experimental, and I was very excited with how it came out and the direction I was going in realism wise. So that's why this one is my favorite of 2012. 2013, this year was the year of oil painting for me. And this is a portrait of my father and my dog, which is one reason why it's so sentimental to me. But at the time, this was my best oil painting that I had created. And so it's very special to me. It just was kind of a landmark painting for me. 2014. The year that I discovered colored pencil, which is kind of funny since this one is in black and white, but it is colored pencil. And colored pencil was a huge game changer for me. My realism skills definitely got enhanced when I discovered colored pencil. This is a picture of my nephew that I did from a photo. And this one, I just really loved how it came out, and I feel like it was one of my more realistic paintings of that year. Okay, so 2015. This year is a year that I really started deeply exploring colored pencil. I had completely and utterly fallen in love with it in 2014, but this year is where I worked almost exclusively in colored pencil. And this is another portrait of my father. It really felt like I had gotten the chance to show my skills as a colored pencil artist with this piece. There's a lot of techniques that I had tried, a lot of new things, and I was really pleased with the way it came out. And it's also very sentimental to me because obviously it's my father. He's very dear to me, and I wanted to do something to kind of immortalize him in artwork, and I feel like I had done that here. 2016 is another portrait. This one is of my niece Bailey, and I find it kind of funny that most of the pictures that I chose for this video are portraits, even though I mainly work with nature, just nature theme in general. So it's kind of funny that I chose a lot of portraits for this, but portraits do take me a long time, and when I usually do a portrait, unless it's a commission, it is somebody who's really dear to me, so it's hard for me not to choose them as my favorites. And this is my niece when she was little, and this one really showed my skill as an artist at the time. I feel like I had really started to master the colored pencil medium with this one, and there were so many fun aspects to it, from her hair to the landscape background to the crocheted scarf to her fleece-lined coat. Like, there was just so many different textures to do, and I feel like I really kind of nailed this one. And I don't say that very often about my own artwork, because obviously I always feel like there's room to improve, but I was really excited about this piece, and so I think it will stand as one of my all-time favorite colored pencil pieces. 2017. This one, I love this. I think it shows like so many things that I love. And again, this is colored pencil with a little bit of pastel. And I am somebody who was always out in my yard chasing around bees to get reference photos, chasing around butterflies, taking photos of my flowers. We have lilacs all over my yard, and it's one of my favorite things, especially about springtime, just to walk outside and smell that. And I really feel that bees are important. So this piece really meant a lot to me. It took me a while to get the perfect reference photo, or in my mind, the best reference photo I could get. And so just getting the reference photo was an accomplishment, and then I really wanted to be able to do it justice. And so I feel like this one really stood out to me as far as 2017 goes as the top of the top. And I actually sold this one at Moxie Festival. The original is now in a new home, which I'm very happy about. So 2018, I had a really hard time choosing with this year, because I have two pieces that I thought were my absolute favorites, but I had to have this win out as far as the sentimental value goes. This is a portrait of my husband, Jason. I took the reference photo one day when we were out at my dad's house, and I really loved the way my husband's red beard was like standing out with the fall trees, and I just loved everything about the reference. And of course, I am very happy with the subject matter. So it was really, to me, a great accomplishment. I feel like this one stands up there with the portrait of my niece and the portrait of my dad. However, I will have a highlight piece at the end of this video, which does come from this same year, that I feel like really deserves some attention, because personally it was something that stood out to me. So it was between this and another piece, but this one really won out as far as my favorite goes because of the sentimental value. In 2019, this one may look familiar to you, because this one was the piece that I did to test out my Derwent Lightfast colored pencils, and I just love the way this came out. I'm very pleased with the way I did the textures. I was very pleased with the pencils, and something about it just makes me really happy to look at it. So that's why I chose this one as my favorite, even though I feel like I had done a lot of artwork that I was pleased with in 2019. This one kind of just stands out to me when I look back in my files. Okay, so as for the highlight piece, this one, as I mentioned before, was from 2018. And this one is my all-time favorite oil painting. And that is why I decided to kind of take it out of the running and just put it as a highlight piece, because this might be my most accomplished realism piece of the decade. And especially in oil. It is definitely the best oil painting that I have ever done. And oil was something that I struggled with for a long time. And so for me to get to the point where I created a piece that made me this happy, I mean, of course, I still see room for improvement. I always will. But to me, this was a turning point for me. And I think that coming up in the next year, I will be definitely exploring oil more and seeing if I can do more like this. Okay, so that kind of summarizes my last decade. I hope you enjoyed watching this. It's kind of fun to look back and see how I've grown and see all the different things that I've done. It was very difficult because I created a lot of artwork in the past 10 years. And so even in certain years, I created a lot of artwork. But I'm very happy with where I'm going as an artist, and I can't wait to see what the future brings. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please hit subscribe. Also, if you're interested in seeing more of my artwork, I'm on social media, so check out the links in the description below.